It's a new season, so we're going for a new format with the post-match reaction to the Watford games this campaign. So Derek Payne is going to be here with us for the next few minutes, analysing the game, and hopefully we'll be joined by one of the players very shortly. Speaking of which, actually, hold that thought, because Ben Foster is coming over right now. Go on, get involved, get in the middle, sir.
Nice to see you, mate. You okay?
Nice to see you, Ben.
I'm going to stick this on here, actually, on your suitcase. Ben, I don't think any of us, when Z-Cars started playing and this place was absolutely rocking and rolling, expected to be stood, together now talking about a 3-0 defeat. What happened?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of sort of, crashed down to reality, really. I think we thought we would just start to turn up today and that was it. But the Premier League isn't like that anymore. You look at what people have spent this year and, tactics changing, this and that. I think it's a lot tougher than it's ever been. And I think we need to look at ourselves. We need to get back to doing the basics that we've done all last season very well, and put that into practice training, because it's if we carry on the way we did today, it's going to be a long old season.
Yeah, it was tough to watch, but I imagine to play in it was very difficult. We haven't had many games like that in the whole time since we returned to the Premier League. Can you put your finger on what it was exactly?
I think they just wanted it more than us today, which is crazy, because that's our basic sort of ethos is we've got to work hard. First and foremost is work ethic and urgency and want to win. And I think they wanted that more than us today. Like I say, I think we almost looked as if we thought we could just turn up and do it. The prospect of a defeat or even a draw today didn't even sort of enter anybody's mind. But it's like I say, it's not that simple anymore. The Premier League it's not billed as the toughest league for no reason. You have to turn up and you have to perform and you have to work every single week, and we definitely didn't do that today.
Ben, do you think anything to do with, we seem to, when we come up against a 3-5-2, a system like that, because we're quite well known now, we like our players coming off the line and then the fullbacks going wide. When teams play that 3-5-2, do you feel that kind of negates our strengths a little bit?
Yeah, I totally agree. They seem to find it really easy to sort of defend against us almost today. We had one real good chance with Andre Gray at 1-0, which, if you put it away, it's a different game, but you can't take anything away from Brighton. I think they played a lot better than we did today. In possession of the ball, they were really nice, really tidy. They were picking passes out, really calm and composed. And we just didn't really seem to offer much threat, because, like you say, they seem to cope with it very, very well.
Yeah, the other thing I ask is, I know pre-season, I've been there as a player, and as you come down, you come off the hard stuff, and sometimes if that ain't right on the point, you can come in a little bit heavy-legged or a bit undercooked. I don't want to make excuses for the team at all. Do you think that is there any case in that?
I think the pre-season, in fairness to the lads, they were fantastic. If you look at the stats that we've done, actually the work that we've done in pre-season, it's higher than we've ever done, really. Body fats are lower, high intensity work's higher. Everybody seems to be fitter. The stats back it up as well. But you need to put that into practice on a match day, and again today we just didn't put it into practice. I'd be interested to see the stats afterwards, because I guarantee they will beat us on virtually every stat, running stat and possession, passing, all that kind of stuff. It's something, like I say, we need to have a look at it and get back to doing the basics on the training pitch and making sure that everybody's accountable for their own performance and for what they do during the week as well.
Well, that's good to hear. It's an honest appraisal, isn't it? And you have to be honest, don't you?
I think sometimes things like this, maybe it's not great to get off to a 3-0 loss, but sometimes it's maybe a good thing that you can, it might sort of ruffle a few feathers, might wake a few people up, and like you say, and realise that it's not as easy as just turning up and waiting for the good players to turn it on like they usually do.
Exactly.
I think there might be people, there inevitably will be people that look at this result and probably try and join the dots a bit with what happened towards the end of last season with the 3 defeats, and then the margin which we lost in the FA Cup final and the margin that we lost today. What do you sort of say to those critics that might think that there is a wider problem emerging here with Watford?
I don't think there's a wider problem at all, not for me personally, not at all. I think we've strengthened really well in the summer. The 3-4 signings that we did make, I think they're real quality players and they're going to improve our squad. I think if anything, it's just the mentality. It's just that we know we've got some really good players, really talented players, probably more talented than 12, 13 of the Premier League table. Do you know what I mean? But that talent's nothing if you don't put in the extra work, the grind, the willing to win, the intensity, the willing to put your life on your line. You saw Brighton today. They had two times where they're clearing it off the line, and you could just see it meant so much to them. I think that was just missing for us a little bit today, and maybe, like you say, a little bit at the back end of last season as well.
How do you fix that mentality then with a trip to Goodison Park next weekend? It's never an easy place to go, and I think a lot of the fans might feel quite fearful now after a performance like today that is the next place that you have to go and play.
Well, first of all, it's not we don't start with next Saturday, we start with tomorrow. We start with tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's where we start, and everybody is going to have to, like I say, be held accountable now, whether you're in the starting 11, whether you're on the fringes, because even the players on the fringes now must be thinking, well, hang on a minute, if they're going to be doing that performance, surely I'm not far away from playing. It gets a rocket up then, and like I say, hopefully it'll get a rocket up the players that have been starting to think, what can I do now to make sure that I'm back in the starting 11? But like I said, I think we need to make sure intensity in training this week is pinpoint high. It's got to be hugely high. It's that's for me the most important thing about winning football matches, is making sure intensity and will to win is high, and much more than the opponent.
Listen, I know it's not been a very nice afternoon for you. Derek, any final questions?
Just want to say, they won't panic, will you, Ben? There won't be a panic. There's a lot of experienced players in the group, isn't there? Yeah. So I'm sure, but like what we're hearing from you, maybe it was a bit of work effort, a bit more of what I call the dirty stuff.
Yeah, the dirty stuff, exactly that. Yeah, but like I said, we can work on that in training. If we can get that back and increase their levels of dirtiness, then it pushes. You go into every game with so much more of a chance of winning than without it.
Well, I think it's fair to say that was a pretty honest assessment of today from Ben Foster, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to hear from your goalkeeper, they're being honest. And they mentioned about, was the work rate there? Were they a bit complacent? So key points he's bringing up. Were they complacent? Did they work hard enough? And I'm sure they'll all get back together. And he mentioned about Monday, didn't he? It's not next week at Goodison. Monday, they'll get in there, they'll discuss it, and they'll try and debrief and see where things went wrong.
Yeah, it really stuck out from the start when he said Brighton wanted it more today. I mean, for him to admit that, it says something. But in some ways, could we see that coming? New manager, a whole different approach to the game from Brighton. They were going to be bang up for it, weren't they?
Yeah, but you shouldn't be like that. This is Premier League football, professional footballers. You get paid to perform. Your supporters are here. So you should not lose a game because the other team wanted it more than you and they outworked you. And the players will be disappointed. But I'm not sure. Maybe they had heavy legs. They looked heavy-legged to me. But I don't want to make excuses for them. And if Ben Foster's coming out and saying that they did not want it as much as the other team, that's a worrying thing. But it's something that you can put right.
Yeah. And he made an interesting point as well that, weirdly enough, results like that can sometimes work in your favour in that it makes the squad very competitive. There'll be players on the bench there that will now think, right, well, could be an opportunity for me now that's on the horizon.
It's a great point he's made, and it's true, because if I'm sitting there and I'm on the bench today, or I haven't been in the squad, I'll go into training Monday and I'm going in and I'm trying to get into the manager's head. I'm going to really be performing because they've performed so bad today. There's chances for these players that the opportunity might come. So hopefully there'll be an increase, like Ben said, in the training, the intensity will come back, the tempo, and hopefully we'll put on a better performance next week. Otherwise, then you will be worrying because you've got to get points on the board.
I'm pleased you asked that question at the end where you said, is there any reason to panic? Because there will be a lot of fans that come away from today thinking, oh dear, that's not how you want to start a season.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot made about we've got a lot of experience in the squad, the age of the squad, so I'm sure they won't panic, as for a start, but obviously supporters will be worried. You don't expect to lose 3-0 at home, maybe against one of the top 4 or 5, but not against a team like Brighton, with all respect to them. But Brighton deserve a lot of credit. They come here and really performed well, had a good game plan, but Watford will be worrying, the supporters will, but they won't panic. That's the one thing you can't do is panic and start doing stupid things and changing everything. They won't do that.
Hey, click here for more videos.